Back in the mists of time, I decided to bite Jude style and make my own Christmas box of socks. Now, I'm a pretty slow knitter and I don't have a sock machine, so this project has taken me 5 years. 5 years. When I started this, I was catless and living at home, and look at me now. This is my first contribution to my Christmas box of socks. It's the West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas yarn for 2019, I think, and it's called Fairy Lights, which I matched with their solid signature 4-ply in bubblegum. And these are kitsch AF. There have been several more pairs since then, and this is my most recent, number 19. This is, oddly enough, Cactus Flower by Twisted Limone. It's not a Christmas colourway, but it does read as Christmas to me. So if I'm planning to make a pair for every day of Advent up to Christmas Eve, that leaves me with 5 more to knit. And that is totally doable this year, right? Yes. Yes, it is. So join me while I plan out exactly how I'm going to do that. First up, a brilliant viewer sent me these. They just need a heel put in. And I have had these for years, and I haven't put the heel in because I'm scared that I'm going to ruin them. But I will. So that leaves 4 more to go. So first, let's assume that West Yorkshire Spinners will bring out a Christmas yarn again this year. So that will be my last pair for the year. It will be really down to the wire to finish that in time for maybe Christmas Eve at the latest. But that leaves just 3 more. So I think we need to do some stash diving. Okay, this is the entirety of my stash. There are 4 drawers here. You can only see the top 2, but trust that there are 4 drawers here. I actually went through this very recently and I tidied it up. I pulled out leftovers. I made up a little leftover bag. So this should be really easy to navigate. So we're gonna have a rummage and we're gonna see what we're looking for. Now, you've seen my current Christmas box of socks, and it's quite traditional in a lot of ways. There's a lots of reds and greens and whites. A lot of like candy cane striping, that kind of thing. I think the ones that stick out most are the West Yorkshire Spinners ones. They do one every year, so they're trying to be a little bit more daring, I think. You know, there's like some brighter purples and colours like that that kind of remind me of like the Quality Street tins and the Roses tins that you get when it's Christmas. You get those tins and you have them for sharing, and you get through 2, maybe 3. So yes, I'm kind of looking for more traditional colours, but I'm not averse to something a little bit outside the box, shall we say. So let's have a look. Let's have a look what we've got. Okay, what is in drawer number 1? Let's have a look. This is the first bag. There are a couple of greens in here that I'm going to pull out. This is a stranded set. But I'm going to pull out these greens for now. So this is Norah George. This is old Norah George, you can tell by the old label, and it's called Garden Gnome. And this is a Dreaming Colour, which doesn't have a name, which is sad, but that's also very pretty. So that's got some purples in there. It's a bit Aurora, which is very Laplandy, so that kind of fits. And this is a lot more just green, but green is a good Christmassy colour. There's quite a lot in here. This is quite good. This could be kind of icy, and we have another green, so we're going to pull those out. Okay, we're going to put that one back. That was 1 down, 3 more to go. Okay, so first up in this bag is a couple of stranded skeins. There's a lot of stranded in here. I'm a big stranded fan. I have had these caked for literally years. I know, don't look at me like that, I know. I actually skeined this up on my old ball winder, which is why it's got this yarn buff. It was a very cheap and not very good one. But this is Ice Skating Party by Stranded Dye Works. It doesn't immediately read Christmas to me, but it does have that frosty kind of thing. And, you know, there's that film with Doris Day where they do a lot of ice skating that I see every year at Christmas. So this, I think, is on the short list. Right, 3rd drawer. Spoiler alert, there's a lot of stranded in here. So maybe when I finish the Christmas box of socks, I should do like just a stranded knit through. Okay, Last drawer. Right, my first thought is this top one could be a short list. This is Mustache Yarn Daily Eggs, so definitely not a Christmas colorway, but it's like an uneven stripe in these blues. So what I was saying about wintry, this gives kind of wintry, so let's put that on the short list. Right, let's have a closer look, let's narrow it down. Okay, first up we have Norah George. This is Garden Gnome. It is a really beautiful green. It is very much kind of hitting my Christmas tree vibe, so I think this goes on the short list. Next up, we have got Two Bare Hands Glacier, which is a very pale, icy blue. I think this is potentially maybe too pale. I'm kind of wanting something a little bit more aggressively Christmas. I think this one is going to go back into stash. Olive, do you want to put that back into stash? No? She just wants to sniff it. Okay, that's fair. Next up we have Travel Knitter in Jazz Age, which is a fantastic green. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. I feel like this would be fantastic in a Christmas colourwork project, but it's not really... I don't know that it's saying Christmas on its own. I kind of feel like it's too much of a solid colour, and even with a pattern, it would be better combined with something. So this is going into the return to stash pile. Next up we have Must Stash Yarns. This is Daily Eggs, and it is an uneven stripe. Now this one I am really torn about because I think this is gorgeous and it's beautiful, beautiful soft yarn. I just don't know that it's Christmas. And if I'm not sure, then it's a no. So we're going to put this into the return stash pile. Okay, next up we have the Dream in Colour BFL sock that I am devastated to say does not seem to have a name, which is really sad. What am I supposed to put on my Ravelry? I really like that it's got the kind of green here that says Christmas tree to me, whereas down here it's got that kind of Aurora Borealis that says Lapland, which is also Christmas. So I think this with a pattern, this is a goer. Finally, we have the ice skating party. Now this, as I said, it has been caked up for years. It's probably time it had its moment in the sun. It's not a plain blue in the same way that the Travel Knitter is a plain green. So I think this could work. The purple combination, it's not screaming Christmas, okay? It's not screaming Christmas, but I think with the right pattern, I think this could work. And Olive approves. Olive just wants to chew the yarn. So I've narrowed it down to these three. We've got the ice skating party, Norah George, and the BFL Dream in Colour. And that's it. If I knit these three up, that's it. I'm done. Well, as long as you don't count putting the heels into the pair that need heels and the West Yorkshire spinners that I'll knit at the end of the year. But if I get these three done, I'm pretty much there. I will admit to being a little bit disappointed because I was hoping to buy some yarn, but you know what? Going into stash, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, so now is the time to find patterns. I do think that all of these are beautiful, but they would really benefit from a little bit of pattern just to Christmas it up a little bit. Now, luckily, I do have quite a few sock patterns saved in my queue. So let's have a look and see if any of them are Christmassy. I ruthlessly cull my queue quite regularly. I don't like it getting too long. There are definitely things on there that I change my mind about when I come back to them. They think they're beautiful in the moment, and then I'm like, oh, I'd never actually knit or wear this. So it is quite a short list that I have in my queue. Okay, so these are all the ones that I have in my Ravelry queue. So let's just very quickly whiz through them. We've got the Woodland Wanderer socks by Yarnia Designs, Christmas Eve Huga socks by Huga Canyon Knits, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas socks by Danielle George. Stocking Around the Christmas Tree by Corinne Walcher. Spruce Socks by Caitlin Barthold. Twinkling Trees by Danielle George. Again, I think she had one earlier. Evergreen Socks by Madeline Gannon. Vintage Fairy Lights by Helen Stewart, and Mistletoe by Verena Kors. Now I only need 3, so I'm gonna have to narrow this down. I'm gonna go straight in and say that the mistletoe ones just aren't, they're not screaming Christmas to me. I think it kind of looks like a Christmas tree, but some of the other ones work a bit better. It's staying on my list, but I just think it's not quite there. It's not quite spot on for what I want. Vintage Fairy Lights. I'm thinking Vintage Fairy Lights. This could work very well with Ice Skating Party. So what it is, it's kind of got it's got your usual rib, and then it goes into like a tiny little cable that looks like the little bits of fairy lights on the string. Obviously, that's why it's called Fairy Lights. And then sort of a rib going down the body of the sock along the top of the foot. Very simple, would be a delight to knit. It looks really nice in a speckle. It looks really nice in a speckle, so I don't think it would get lost. Ice Skating Party, gonna be Vintage Fairy Lights. I do really like the evergreen socks, but there's quite a few on this list that are Christmas tree. There are quite a few on my queue that are Christmas tree, so there's a definite pin in that one that I'm coming back to you. Twinkling Trees by Danielle George is gorgeous, but it does have a tiny bit of colour work in it. I gotta be ruthless, and I'm cutting it. I'm cutting it. Cutting you from the team, coach. Spruce Socks by Caitlin Barthold. I really like how the little trees look, so I'm gonna hold on that one. Stocking Around the Christmas Tree. They are lovely, but I don't think that will work on either of these. I think it would work on a less variegated yarn. Okay, we're cutting it. Being ruthless. Festively ruthless. 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Let's have a look. Oh, that's pretty. I think it's so pretty, but it's too subtle. It's too subtle, and it's gonna get lost. It is gonna get lost, I think. Christmas Eve Huga. They've knit this on a speckle, and it doesn't really, in my opinion, it doesn't really show up as strongly as I would like it to. So I think it would get lost on these. So, ruthless, we're cutting it. This is really hard. I'm having to be like, no, go. Woodland Wanderer. Okay, I've narrowed it down to Woodland Wanderer by Yarnia Designs, Spruce Socks by Caitlin Barthold, and the Evergreen Socks by Madeline Gannon. Spruce Socks by Caitlin Barthold, I think, would look gorgeous in this. So that is what we're doing with this one. We're doing Spruce Socks by Caitlin Barthold. So that's number 2. That is what we're gonna knit with that. Done. Locking it in. Locking it in. I feel like the Woodland Wanderer is a bit too busy for this. I want something a little bit more subtle, but not so subtle that it's gonna get lost. This is hard. I feel like I'm constantly contradicting myself. Evergreen Socks by Madeline Gannon. I think that's what you're gonna be. Okay, so that is it. I have the final 3. So that's that. I found everything that I needed, not only in stash, but in my queue. Past Nikki really minimized the buying, which is good. I might have had a few Etsy pages open, but you know, that was just for research. But it's good that they were all in my stash. And it's good that they were all in my queue, because I could have been here for hours trying to find the right thing. So I think as soon as I finish number 19, I will cast on immediately Vintage Fairy Lights with this one here, just to get this poor thing uncaked after all these years. And then these 2 will get done really nice and quickly. And then all I've got to do is put a heel in another pair of socks, which is, that'd be easy, right? And knit up the West Yorkshire spinners, which will probably be my kind of Christmas, December project. They usually come out in like October, November, so I should be fine. I should be fine. So there we go. That is the plan for the completion of the Christmas sock box. I'll see you all when it is finally done.